Okay, guys. Since this is considered is called the INTP stream, I wanted to. In a previous video, I described what introverted thinking is, which is the leading cognitive process of the INTP, and I used an analogy from a Michael Pierce video. He's a YouTuber in the typology community. The TI is concerned with the wireframe, that it's concerned with breaking things down into their fundamentals. It's concerned with in some sense, essencing the thing, reducing it to its most fundamental component parts and breaking those parts apart and then analyzing something in a fundamental essentializing kind of way to get at the objective reality of what it is from an almost alien absurdist perspective. I don't know. We won't go into that. The potential link between TI and absurdism, which you see with Camus, although he may have been I'm not going to even try to type him, although I think that some of the things he says is very TI. In any case, people will, I think, since TI is so concerned with breaking things down into their fundamental component parts and breaking things down to their fundamentals, I think this type is often accused of losing the forest for the trees. And I think the best response to that, the most TI response to that you can get in sort of a quippy way, a kind of quippy rebuttal to the statement that you lose the forest for the trees, is to say that the forest is the trees. That the forest is a macro structure that is composed of micro components, and that in the same way that an ocean is every drop within it, a forest is every tree within it. So it's the idea you lose the forest for the trees. The response to that is the forest is the trees, fundamentally. And it's not just the trees, it's the soil, it's the bio matter and biolife within it, it's the fungi, it's the animals, it's the plants, it's the trees, fundamentally. Absent the trees, it would no longer be called a forest. And so the forest is the trees. And what TI, I think, is fundamentally concerned with is being able to analyze something in that way, right? To take the forest for the trees, to recognize that the forest is the trees, and to add it all together into a holistic thing by analyzing each one of its component processes and parts. And I think that that is perhaps the essence of what TI, or at least is, and I think that's more or less my own view of what TI is. A concern with how details build upon each other to build a grander whole, and conceiving the grander whole as a reflection of its parts. I think that's the nature of what TI is. And in this sense, the statement that the forest is the trees is to be concerned with the wireframe that is the forest and the wireframe of the forest. And I think this is a pretty good, notion, perhaps, about what TI is definitionally and what it should properly be regarded as it operates within the mind of a human, I suppose. So, not so bad to lose the forest for the trees, because the forest is the trees. And I think that this is perhaps a more proper way of proceeding in the analysis of things, is to break them down and fundamentalize them and essence them to understand their objective nature, philosophically, metaphysically, physically, on any level, right? And in this sense, INTPs aren't so blinded by the incomprehensible scale of some things, because the type is able to break down larger processes and structures into simple interpretations and comprehensions of their component parts. And in that way, even incomprehensibly large sets of data can be reduced to its fundamentals and be rendered understandable on some level, either from a teleological perspective or some other kind of way of thinking about things in a fundamental way. So I would hope that the typology junkies that are in the community here that are partaking in these videos really considers this sort of quippy rebuttal, what I would regard as kind of a TI rebuttal to the conventional statement or accusation, you lose the forest for the trees, which is to state that the forest is the trees, and that to understand something we need to break it apart, break up its component parts, and add them back together, and in doing so we can render an objective understanding of the thing. Thank you for watching.